Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all according to your time and locations you'll be watching this video. Yes, my dear viewers, I am back again with another update. So guys, I have a video here I would like we all to watch. But before then, if you're meeting my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. Please kindly do well to like, share and subscribe. Leave your thought on the comment section. Let us know what you think about this video and I will see you towards the end.
Transition process, although a work in progress, is finally taking off today with the inauguration of the 45 wise men who have been appointed ministers by President Bola Tinubu to assist him in policy formulation and the implementation of his campaign promises. Tinubu, in company with his deputy, Senator Kashim Shettima, would administer oaths of office and allegiance to the 45 ministers designate, one after the other. The ministers, who as cabinet members are part of the executive arm of the government, are to serve as an advisory body to the president and also in policy formulation. No doubt, the nation is presently in a precarious situation and Nigerians would be looking up to the new ministers for quick and enduring fixes in the areas of policies, programs and initiatives that would impact positively on the citizens, improve their living conditions and as well boost the country's gross domestic product (GDP). Also, following a protest from the Niger Delta, President Bola Tinubu has designated Abubakar Momo from Edo State as Minister of Niger Delta. He was initially designated to head the Federal Ministry of Youth. A statement issued on Sunday by the Special Advisor to the President, Ajuri Ngelale, said the Federal Ministry of Youth would be reassigned to a Minister Designate soon. The ministers designate allocated to the Federal Ministries of Transportation, Interior, Marine and Blue Economy were also reshuffled. Adegboyega Oyetola is redeployed as the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, while Bunmi Tunji-Ojo is redeployed as the Minister of Interior. Honorable Saidu Alkali is redeployed as the Honorable Minister of Transportation. Furthermore, both Ministers of State in the oil and gas sector are now domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources with the following designations. Senator Heineken Lokobiri is the Honorable Minister of State, Oil, Petroleum Resources. Honorable Ekwerikpe Ekpo is the Honorable Minister of State, Gas, Petroleum Resources. The President also approved the renaming of the Federal Ministry of Environment and Ecological Management as the Federal Ministry of Environment. Mr. K, a number of things happening over the weekend, changes here, reshuffling there, new a few appointments here and there. Your take on this story?
Well, the first thing that occurred to me when I saw the story, when I got the press statement from the office of the spokesperson to the President, when I got that, I was like, this is a sign that the government is not prepared for governance. They're not prepared for government. They're not prepared to govern. Because if they are, if the president has spent the whole of his life preparing for this office, there is no way we will have so many mishaps over this issue. I'm not sure. Rufai and Ayo, you might be able to help me. Maybe you have better memories than me. I've never heard anywhere in the world a situation where a cabinet is constituted, cleared, and a portfolio assigned, and all of a sudden, before they were inaugurated, you're already doing reshuffling. I've never heard anywhere in the world that you reshuffle cabinets even before they are inaugurated. It's never been heard of. So this is a first for me. I'm hoping that that some wise people say is that the best thing you can do for yourself, if you find out that you've made a mistake, correct it. Don't hide it. So I guess the president has made quite a few mistakes on this issue, and he is trying to correct it, and we hope that's a good thing, and we hope that he will get it right. The only reason I will keep praying that the president will get it right, and this government will get it right, is because I want Nigeria to be better. I want the nation to be better. I want it for the sake of my children and our children yet unborn. So our prayers will go, or my prayers, at least let me speak for myself, my prayers will go to the president that God help him so that he can get it right for the sake of all of us and for the sake of the future generation that is yet to be born. But this cabinet reshuffling, even before they're inaugurated, is unheard of. It is weird, it is wacky, it is not something I can really understand. But I hope that this is now settled and we'll see a difference.
All right.
So I'll go to football this morning. I'm a huge football fan, massive Chelsea fan. Chelsea lost yesterday.
We know that.
But there used to be a former coach of Chelsea Football Club called Claudio Ranieri. And I linked the story. Claudio Ranieri was famous and he was known to be the tinker man.
Yeah.
Because Claudio Ranieri will always tinker with the team. So, if in this regard, President Tinubu wants to be the tinker man here, to tinker with his cabinet, I've got no qualms with it, as long as he succeeds. Because despite the fact that Claudio Ranieri tinkered a lot with his team and was called the tinker man, he led Leicester to Premiership victory. He's also voted number 48 in the list of 50's greatest managers. As long as when you do the tinkering, you do it right. I felt, with the importance of the Niger Delta question, which has constantly been in the Constitution since the 1960s. In fact, in the 1960 or 63 Constitution, if my memory serves me right, there was a provision to be able to set up a development commission of some sort in the Niger Delta because of the importance. For a region that has been putting most of the foreign exchange in this country since 1956, 57, thereabout when Oloibiri took place, was started. Or for a region that even dials back when oil prospecting started in the early 1912, 1913. That region deserves a ministry. So when I did not see a ministry of Niger Delta, I knew something was amiss. But hey, the tinker man has brought it back. No qualms. Just like the Minister of Youth, which some people, and you see, some people that come and defend all sorts. Very funny stuff. Some people were defending so hard the position and saying, no, youths need an elderly person to look up to, you know, to mentor them and all of that. But hey, I'm sure we've seen the reality of things now. Because we forget in a hurry, if my memory serves me right, it's in this country we had Frank Oweke Jr. become minister at a very young age. It's in this country we had the likes of Chief Okoye, who was Minister of State for the FCT in his 30s, becoming minister. So there's also a place for young people, and no better person to understand the language of the young, like also the young people that take a very formidable part of this country. He's also tinkered with the Ministry of Marine, you know, blue economy and all of that. Mr. Oyetola, former governor, yes, probably he wants to employ the experience of Mr. Oyetola, what he did, you know, with gold in his states, Agilala and the likes. Maybe he wants to do that in the marine industry. That's very good. I have no qualms with that. So he could tinker as much. But also something I learned from the life of Claudio Ranieri is that it is also best to make your decision from the get-go. Because there were times too Claudio Ranieri was heavily burnt. His tinkering could have worked to win Leicester the league. But what happened the following season? It's a tale for everybody to understand. So, in all of this too, yes, you can be impetuous and go on and tinker from time to time. But there's also a role for being circumspect before you make the decisions in the first place. Because your decision-making process, once people start to fault it, then it becomes problematic. So I am not, you know, I think it's a welcome development. He can tinker with anything. The outcome will be success. As long as he achieves success, tinker on.
All right, so the tinkering man versus the unstable or unstable style, perhaps, as some people might describe. Yes, I do agree that the president has, within his prerogative, is to change or shuffle or reshuffle. But it is quite curious that without them even going ahead to begin begin their jobs, already they are moving around. There are a few questions that this raises. And this is again going to emphasize the conversation around a portfolio assigned before they appear before the House. So does this mean that any of the ministers could take on any role that they're given? Because the assumption is that there's some people whose expertise, whose background are better suited to particular ministries, especially some technical ministries. And so if they haven't even discharged their duties to see how effective or ineffective they are in that ministry, and they're already being moved around, does it mean that there wasn't a clear thought process in assigning them to that ministry? Are there bigger issues? For instance, the Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. The new Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is a subset of or has come out from the Ministry of Transportation. That would usually have come under Ministry of Transportation, which Mr. Oyetola now was occupying. Was there something about the fact that it had lost the meat, the main part of its the ministry, and now for transportation, it's the hard work of road infrastructure, rail that is there that has now moved him to the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy? So these are certain questions. Why the change now? What expertise would he have? Didn't he have to handle transportation to move him to Marine and Blue Economy? Or why wasn't that identified before the announcement was made? Bear in mind, an announcement came many days after inauguration day on the 29th of May. Today is actually 84 days after the inauguration, hence it hasn't been a quick or hitting the ground running when it comes to appointment with the president. So curious cases in that regard. And then should this be, or is this a sign of how government will be going forward? Because bear in mind as well that this administration in only 84 days has made policies, backtracked on some, said we're going to do this, backtracked on some, have seen a few bottlenecks around certain announcements that have been made. Look at the fuel subsidy removal. Till today, no concrete action with regards to distributions. Yes, there have been announcements that have been made, but in terms of it translating to actions that affect or impact lives, we haven't seen that. Anyways, moving away from that, congratulations to the ministers designate. They will hit the ground running, and we're hoping that they will land with their 2 feet. Again, they are aware of the issues plaguing the nation. And so we don't want to hear excuses with regards to, oh, we inherited this amount of problems. Nigerians are eager, in fact, almost impatient for a change. So what we're going to be looking forward to is that the moment inauguration is done today, they sworn their oath of allegiance and all, and they have been handed their portfolio. They meet with their permanent secretaries, as we learn after they've been sworn in. They meet with their permanent secretaries. We expect that by tomorrow, we'll begin to hold you to account. We want to hear your plans. We want to hear what you're going to do differently. We want to see how you're going to work towards achieving this renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. Now, a few critical success factors that must be born. Number one is that if these ministers will do well, they must have the listening ear of the president. So, in the advisory capacity, they must be given an enabling environment to flourish and to act. Because if they come with bright ideas, we have people like Dr. Bosun Tijani, who has excelled in the tech space in Nigeria, and we're looking at him holding a very critical ministry as well, best fit, perhaps one of the most in terms of when we consider round pegs and round holes. Let him have the enabling environment to flourish, to work, giving the tools to come up with policies that would define that ministry. Same with all the other ministries. We hope the president will listen to advice from his appointees. And then the next, of course, is the style of leadership of the ministers themselves. In the past, we've often seen leadership from a grandiose point of view, where ministers come up with sometimes very demeaning statements when they are being questioned or asked. I mean, remember the case of the Minister of Employment who said that if the doctors move away, then there are many other doctors who can fill their spaces. That's not the way for a leader to speak. So one of the things I would also mention is, number one, they're going to be managing multiple stakeholders, the civil servant in their ministry and also the people. So communication is a tool that they must have. So if some might need to go through or undergo communication training, please, by all means, do so. Beyond discharging your duties, you must also be an effective manager, managing people, managing resources, and managing expectations of the people that you're